Before we get started, we want to make sure you know about all of our upcoming live shows.
Because those East Coast tickets just went on sale.
But first, we've got a big show on April 11th in San Francisco at the ACT Tony Rimbe Theater.
Erlen, I'm super excited about that one. I mean, it's basically our hometown, right?
Yes, yes.
Then, coming up in May, we're going to be in Baltimore,
Philadelphia,
Brooklyn,
and Northampton, Massachusetts.
And I'm going to add this. I just heard the tickets for that show are going really quickly.
Of course, you're from there.
Dates and tickets are on our website, earhustlesq.com/tour.
Come check us out.
And I'm going to say this, buy them on our website because I have heard of people getting scammed.
Yeah, it's not just scammed. It's just the markup is hella.
Yeah,
so
exactly. Yeah. So
we want y'all to keep it as cheap as possible.
Go to our website.
It's going to be a dope-ass show.
It's going to be great.
This is Maestro Abdul with Healing Rhythms, Chief of West African Drum in the prison. Top bi nga xam ne ñu ngi koy topp Ear Hustle. ñu ngi bëgg ñëpp. The following episode of Ear Hustle contains language and content that may not be appropriate for all listeners. This question is advised.
What are some things that would surprise your dad about you?
I'm really funny. People always tell me I'm a comedian. I think that I know everything. So I think that I'm always right. And I'm not most of the time, but I'm so stubborn that I have to be right. I do not like math. My dad used to try to get us to do math. I don't like it. I love clothes. I absolutely love cheese. I love to read, and I love to swim. He probably thinks I don't care too much, but I do, you know. I still cry. I sit to myself and I cry over my dad.
This is Domonica. She's 30 years old, and this was our first time meeting her. But you and her dad go way back.
Yeah, we served time together in San Quentin.
Domonica actually hasn't seen her dad in person in like over 20 years. But recently, she caught a glimpse of him in a photograph in the San Quentin News. And the San Quentin News is a newspaper that's produced inside the Media Lab. And Erlen, right, it's distributed inside and outside of prison.
Yep. How is it when you see him in the newspaper?
I'm like, what? The first time I seen him in the newspaper was last year. I cried. I was like, oh my goodness.
By chance? You just happened to see him in the paper?
Yeah, I was just looking at the paper. Now I look for him in the paper. He's the only reason why I look at the paper now, to catch glimpses of him.
That must have been shocking.
Yeah, I was like, oh my goodness, he's old.
Domonica and her dad were really close when Domonica was a kid, but they haven't seen each other in more than 20 years. So how do you, or really even can you, pick up a relationship when so much time has passed?
Today on the show, the story of Domonica and her pops, Ula. I'm Erlen Woods.
I'm Nigel Poor, and this is Ear Hustle from PRX's Radiotopia.
Doom, 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 boom.
Erlen, you've known Ula since you were both at San Quentin together.
Yep.
How would you describe his personality?
I would say this. He's very intelligent. And he loves to debate.
Okay.
I don't care what it is, he's debating it.
Yeah, I'm going to go a little further and say he's got a pretty big personality.
Okay.
Right?
He do.
Yeah. And he is intelligent, and yes, he likes to share his knowledge.
Yes.
So when we met Domonica, we asked her to describe her dad's personality to us.
I think he's big-headed and he's in love with himself. And he thinks he's really smooth and cool.
I definitely think you have his personality down.
Yeah.
That is definitely what he's like.
Yeah, big-headed. Thinks he's smooth. Yeah, I can kind of tell.
Ula and Domonica are from the Inland Empire, a.k.a. the IE, which is San Bernardino, Indio, that area. And when Domonica was a kid, Ula was in the streets, gangbanging, slanging drugs, into crime.
I can literally remember getting raided at 3 years old. It was scary because first thing, when the police pull up, the adults turn all the lights off. They all hiding. So now me and my brother trying to find a hiding spot. We trying to hide in the drawer. We were trying to hide in the closet. We're babies, but we're trying to hide. That was normal to me. Those raids were normal. Like seeing the police kicking the door, that was normal. I didn't think there was nothing wrong with it. I thought this was just normal.
When Domonica was 6, her dad was arrested.
He received a sentence of over 100 years. How was it when he stopped coming around? Did you understand where he was at?
I knew because I was a nosy kid. They would say he was at school, but I would be listening. I would say I'd be ear hustling, actually. I knew that he was in jail, and I knew because of how my mom was emotionally that he was not coming home. I knew as a kid. They might not have told me, but I understood. When he left, that was a big hole in my heart, and it still hasn't been filled. I can't say that nobody's ever loved me like my dad has.
I'll definitely say, yeah, he loved his daughter. That's what he do. Now, I don't know if you know this, but Ula is not his name.
I didn't know that, actually.
Yeah, his name is actually Damon, but he don't use that name because everybody know him as Ula.
Right.
And his daughter is actually named after him.
Got it.
Because her name is Domonica. And I know that she's very close to his heart. Like, you know, any father that's locked up and their child is out there. So tell me, what are the tears? It's just emotional.
I get like this every time I talk about my dad.
Do we have any
Kleenex?
Yes. Yeah.
She's like, yeah, we do.
Thank you.
Well, after he left, how long was it before you heard from him again?
I know it was years. There's been times where I didn't talk to him for maybe a year to 2 years at a time.
Was it your choice, or it was just that he just couldn't?
No, it wasn't my choice. I've been to foster care, and my mom, she's better now, but she had an addiction, so I don't think that was her main priority. And it wasn't my dad's family main priority either to keep us in contact with them. It was more so like, he's in prison and it is what it is, you know, kind of like he got put on a shelf.
I get the sense that Domonica and her siblings didn't have a lot of guidance.
If I was at my dad's mom's house, sometimes we didn't even come in till the morning time.
When you was 7 and 8?
That young.
And what would you be doing?
We would be at the park at night. We would be outside. Lord Jesus, we'd be playing ding dong ditch. We were bad kids. We were terrible.
So it just sounds like every adult in your life, they just had their own.
Yeah, they had a lot going on.
Yeah.
They had a lot going on.
Even after her dad went to prison, Domonica kept hearing about him. His reputation preceded him. He was in the streets. He was the man, you know, and people talked about him like war stories. And since Domonica didn't get to see him, these stories was all she had.
And as Domonica got older, she looked for ways to be close to him. And, you know, she sort of used kid logic. She thought if she took the same path as her dad did, it would bring them closer.
When I went to the streets, it was, oh, he did this, he was this, your dad was this, your dad did that. I loved hearing about him. I wanted to take every route that he took to be closer to him. If it was going around people who glorified the things that he did, even glorifying his prison sentence, that's who I was around to hear about him.
At one time, I had maybe 16 people that was up under me. So when I had this reputation, and I have all these people that follow me and all these people that depend on me to make a decision for what's right for the set.
That was Ula, Domonica's dad. He's still incarcerated at San Quentin.
And just like Domonica, Ula grew up with parents who were in the life. His mom was a drug dealer.
When I was maybe about like 11 years old, when she couldn't get up to go to the door to serve the next customer, I would take it upon myself to do it for her. And I thought that it was a good thing that I was doing because it's like, oh, she's sleeping, she's been up all night. So at least when she wake up, she'll see there's money in the drawer, product is gone, she'll be proud of that. That was how I came into my little ways of dealing drugs and dealing with people. I think I passed a lot of that on to my daughter.
While Ula was in prison, he'd get word from the streets about how his daughter had joined the same gang he'd been in and was rising through the ranks.
I was starting to hear little stuff like, Domonica, you know, she's just like you. Like, she addresses everything just like you, you know what I mean? Instead of talk, she'd rather fight. I think maybe by the age of 16, just like me, she had people that was already following her. I think she had already had somebody that was claiming her name.
What does that mean, that people were claiming her name?
That means that, you know, you have such a respect that, say, for instance, your name is Nige, and you from Hunters Point, right? Then somebody that respects you so much, they want to be Little Nige.
Oh.
So that now this person is claiming your name because of the respect that you done made in the streets.
Why were you Little Emac?
It was a guy that was older than me.
Oh, got it.
The more I acted in violence, the more my dad's name got brought up. Like, you're his twin, you just like him. So I fed off of that.
And how far was you willing to go?
I hate to say it. Who I am today is not who I was then. But I can be honest. I would have risked it all just to be like my dad because I didn't get a life with my dad.
Domonica really did follow in her dad's footsteps. In 2018, she was arrested for her involvement in a shooting.
And I remember the day she was arrested. I was walking across the basketball court, and Ula was sitting on the ground by the court, and he was just looking dejected. And I walked up to him, man, like, what's up? He was like, man, my daughter got arrested.
Oh, wow.
And when I met with Domonica, I told her that story. Yeah, I was on the yard with your daddy. He was telling us, man, my daughter just went to jail for a shootout.
I'm not as tough as he think.
No, he wasn't saying it as glorifying. He was more concerned about you getting life, or, you know what I'm saying? Like, fuck, like, he was more concerned in it, like, damn, like her life. You know, he was thinking of that because we was sitting in there, both had life sentences. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I honestly wish that we would have communicated more before this happened, because then it probably would have never happened.
When Earlonne said to you what your dad's reaction was, I wish I had a mirror to show you the expression on your face. Can you describe what your reaction was when you heard that?
Yeah. It's shocking to me that someone expressed that they cared about my life if I was to get a life sentence. That's foreign, you know, that's very, very foreign to me. It's a weird feeling. It's a good feeling, but it's a weird feeling. It was like, oh.
Is it a feeling of maybe love?
Yeah, it is a feeling of love.
Yeah.
I fought a lot, you know, people would brag. She just beat so-and-so up. All my life, I'm thinking that he would glorify my actions and not be too concerned.
It looked like it hurt to hear it. I mean, your facial expression was, or maybe it was just very deep emotion. Yeah.
No, it didn't hurt. I just wish I would have heard it sooner.
In her mindset, she always thought she was doing what he wanted her to do.
Right.
Like, yeah, keep the name going. But that's totally not what he was on. And it hit her like a ton of bricks, like in that moment.
Mm-hmm. I mean, how different her life would have been if they actually had been in communication.
Right.
Have you ever been able to talk to him about your crime?
No, not an open conversation of the things that I went through and what led me to my behaviors, no.
Do you think he wants to know or he's afraid to know?
I think he would think that it was his fault. I'm sure he would want to know.
And do you ever think about when you're going to see your dad again?
Sometimes I think like maybe I'll never see him, but I'm going to try my best to do everything that I can so I can get accepted to have a visit if he's not home by the time I get home.
Right now, Domonica is incarcerated at the California Institution for Women. She's 8 years into a 19-year sentence.
And Ula's serving a life sentence at San Quentin with the possibility of parole.
And since he and Domonica are both in prison, they can't communicate. One incarcerated person cannot call another incarcerated person.
No.
And because they were in the same gang, there's restrictions on them even writing letters.
So, Ear Hustle tried to do something almost impossible.
Exactly. We spent almost a year trying to make something happen that, as far as we know, has never happened before.
We worked with prison staff at San Quentin and the California Institution for Women to try to get a video call set up between Ula and his daughter, Domonica.
Yeah, I know that might not sound like a big deal, but we need to bring Amy, our editor, on to explain all that entailed. All right, Amy, so can you shed some light on how this actually happened?
Sure. So the idea came about, I'm going to say, in like late summer, early fall 2024.
Okay, so we're talking like almost 2 years ago?
Yeah.
All right.
And that's when we heard from Ula, who we all know at San Quentin, that his daughter is incarcerated at CIW.
Mm-hmm.
So when we found that out, I approached a woman at San Quentin named Sergeant Graves, and she works under the warden. And I said, hey, you know, this father and daughter are out of touch, and wouldn't it be cool to connect them after all these years?
And what was her first reaction to that request?
She was into it. She was excited. I think she was moved by the idea of, you know, it's part of rehabilitation, right? Bringing families back together.
Yeah.
And she believes in that. Of course, as often happens, you know, when you are asking for something from someone at a prison, it takes a lot of emailing. You don't always get a response back. There's a lot of very polite follow-ups.
Yes.
So that went on for a couple months. But I think that in the background, the gears actually were turning on this, because a couple months later, we got a reply that, yes, if CIW was willing to approve this video call, San Quentin would also approve it.
So wait a minute, just out of the blue, you got an email from Graves sort of saying, okay, next steps?
Yes.
Wow.
Then there was some paperwork, because both Ula and Domonica had to separately file a formal request to communicate with each other.
And I don't know if this made it even more problematic because they were both in the same gang.
That really actually was the biggest obstacle.
Okay. More than that they were
overcome.
relatives. Okay.
More than that they are both incarcerated.
Right.
Is that they were in the same gang on the outside. And actually, I think that's why, after a period of these very enthusiastic emails, I got another email saying the whole thing was off.
Oh.
No explanation, but it was off.
Oh, God.
And
this up and down, it's
a lot of
like, it's a lot.
Yeah. And at that point, we all kind of gave up on it. You know, it would have been great. But then one day I was in San Quentin and I ran into Sergeant Graves, and she said, hey, you know, write me an email because that video call may be back on. So of course I immediately did. And what I learned later is that this issue of the video call had actually risen all the way up to the warden level at both prisons.
Wow.
And even though policy is that these two people shouldn't be able to talk, the wardens at each prison believed that this was worth doing. And then finally, I'm going to say about 6 or 8 months after that initial
I'll go with 8
email,
months. It was a long time.
the video call was finally approved.
So this reminds me of even, you know, how Ear Hustle started. It's like you have to find the right people. And if you're patient, the 3 Ps, patience, politeness, and persistence, eventually make things happen.
Totally.
Right?
Yeah. But so meanwhile, you know, of course, we're continuing to talk to Ula and Domonica, and they knew that this was a possibility because they both had to fill out paperwork to request it. But it was really important that we not give them, especially Domonica, that no one give her false hope.
Exactly.
That this would happen, because it always felt like a huge long shot.
If you can talk with your dad, if it works out, what do you imagine that being like?
I don't know how I would react. I know I would cry. I don't know what I would really ask. I don't know what I would talk about. I don't even know if I could. I hope if it does happen that I could ask questions, but just seeing him and not a picture, I don't know. It's something that I've been wishing for like the last 23 years.
What you wishing for?
Just to get to know him.
Yeah, it's understandable.
What would you hope he asks you about?
Simple things like my favorite color or what I like to eat. Simple things.
Of course, Domonica and Ula have had contact. Before Domonica went to prison, Ula would call her at home. But those calls from prison are pretty rushed. Like, you only have 15 minutes for the call, and he's probably talking to a whole bunch of people in the family at that time. Probably not just her.
Yeah, the call is just like, I love you, I miss you, I love you. We can't wait to see you, that.
Yeah, exactly.
It was, hey, I love you. It was just, always trying to push the issue that we love each other. Hey, I love you. I miss you. It's kind of rushed because you want to get everything you can in within 15 minutes, know?
Yeah.
He just be like, hi, baby, I love you. Oh, my princess, my baby.
Yeah. And do you think he's capable of
handling it?
Yeah, asking those questions and really hearing what you have to say, as opposed to just saying, I love you, you're my princess?
Yes.
When we finally got a date for that video call, we still didn't want to tell anyone because, as we know in prison, don't shit go off as it's supposed to.
Exactly. We didn't tell Ula until the day the call was supposed to happen. Our inside managing producer, Tony, shared the news with him.
Well, if everything goes right, you need to be at the chapel at 1:30 today.
Whoa, I'm overwhelmed by that. That's too much. Oh, man. Thank you. Oh, man. I don't know. Oh, man. Thank you. Oh, my goodness. What? How? Did she know this?
She knows.
She knows this?
She knows.
I think I need to go cry right now.
Go cry.
I gotta go.
1:30.
I'll be here. Thank you, Tony.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
When we come back, we'll see what happened with that video call.
Hello.
How you doing again?
Fine, you?
I'm all right. It's been a minute since I've seen you. Come on, sit down.
Okay. I'm nervous.
On the day of the call, I'm down south at the California Institution for Women. I meet up with the public information officer, Lieutenant Newborg, and he takes me to this conference office up in the administration building. There was a big table in there, and I can imagine this is where all the briefings go down at between the warden and the captains and all that.
Right.
And about 15 minutes after I got there, Domonica was escorted into that office.
I don't know. I haven't been able to sleep or eat for 2 days.
What?
Yeah.
Why are you nervous?
Because I don't know what to say or do.
What you mean? I mean, what's bringing about that type of feeling, though? I know you haven't seen him in a long time, and this is different. And you know, he's lived in your head your whole life.
I told myself, and I've been telling everybody, like, what am I going to do? They're like, it's a good thing. It's a good thing. I'm like, yeah, but what if I can't talk to him?
What have you been talking to him in your head about? Because I know you probably practiced this conversation.
I told myself, I said, I want to see his hands. I want to see his ears. I want to see his height. I just want to be able to see him.
Meanwhile, in San Quentin, in Northern California, Ula is walking across the yard, headed up to the chapel where the video call has been set up.
I'm going to go see my daughter, Domonica Lewis, who I haven't saw since she was 6, who will be 30 next month on the 4th. So I'm a ball of emotions right now. I'm just so excited to talk to my baby and just to I haven't saw her mannerisms, so I don't know if she looks like me when she like smiles or if she looks like her mom or grandmother. So I want to see her in her movements. I just want to see her.
I know we said this earlier, but I just want to reiterate that as far as we know, this was the first time that an incarcerated father and daughter were able to get on a call like this.
I wasn't there. So, Amy, can you describe what it was like?
Sure. So while Earlonne is at CIW with Domonica, I was in San Quentin with Ula. The staff had set up a room for us right near the chapel. And the funny thing was that they had gotten, I guess, the screen that was available. This was a huge, like a 56-inch TV was set up to be...
Wait, I thought you guys would both be on laptops or something.
Oh, no. Okay. This was like a gigantic TV.
And how many people are in the room?
So there was this long table. Okay, let me count. So I'm there with my recorder. Ula is there. Sergeant Graves is there. And then the public information officer, Lieutenant Barry, was there. So there's about 4 people sitting around this table. And of course...
and everyone's like looking at Ula?
Well, at San Quentin, first, everyone's just trying to get this thing to work. I mean, what about you, Earlonne, at CIW?
Things were looking a little dicey on our end, too.
There's no technical difficulty on why they can't jump in other than they're just late.
Domonica is sitting there, and she's anxious. And the picture on the screen is kind of popping up and then disappearing.
Yeah, we could see you, but you couldn't see us.
Right. And I'm sitting there like, man, I hope this shit work.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, this is too dope to not happen.
And how is Ula reacting?
He was just like overcome from the beginning. He's sort of like grasping onto the table, leaning toward the screen. You know, like his face is just, I don't know, 6 or 8 inches away from this screen.
Was he talking a lot or just quiet?
He was just, saying, oh my God, it's her, it's her. I mean, he really was overwhelmed. He had brought this piece of cloth with him that he called his tear rag because he knew how emotional this was going to be for him.
Oh my God. Oh.
Sit down so you...
Oh my God. Oh my God.
All right, it's getting clear.
Look at my baby.
You can't see. Can you hear us?
Oh my God, look at my baby.
You can hear us?
So miraculously, both prisons hit the right button at the right time, and there everybody was.
Oh my God.
Hello?
Oh my God, how you doing, baby? I love you so much.
I love you too.
How are you doing?
I'm doing fine, a little nervous.
I'm beyond nervous, but I'm here because I love you and I miss you so much.
I miss you too.
How have you been doing?
I've been fine. I've been all right. I'm just nervous.
So, Earlonne, she says she's nervous, but it's funny. I mean, I can't really hear that in her voice.
I know, but she was stressing. There was tears in her eyes, and you could tell that she was trying to hold them back. She just kept saying, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say.
Was it awkward or?
I think it was just a big moment in her life. Like, she hasn't really looked and talked to this person technically since she was 6. And now she's 30.
Amy, what was the vibe with him?
I mean, like I said, he was overcome. He was really emotional. He's leaning, sort of craning toward the screen. It did feel a little tiny bit awkward. I mean, he's got all these people watching him. And I think there was just so much writing on this video call. Like, would they actually be able to get to know each other again, after all those years? But I will say that they got past the pleasantries really fast. I mean, almost right off the bat, they were kind of into the thick of it.
I know you got a lot of questions for me, right? About a lot of stuff. And I just want you to be able to ask me whatever you want to ask me. I want you to be able to talk about whatever, like whatever it is that's going to help you through this process and heal. Because I know that you being there is a result of me being a bad father and being neglectful,
I'm not going to say that you were a bad father because I don't feel like I had bad parents. I just feel like I had parents that wasn't raised right, so I wasn't raised right. But I don't feel like that's your fault. The life I lived, was it a hard life? I lived a very hard life, but I don't blame my parents.
Well, I love you for saying that, but as your parent, I think it would be impossible for you to be in that situation if I hadn't been absent.
Yeah. Probably just trying to find that love that you gave me and chasing these images of you. That's probably why I committed my crimes. Just trying to be like my dad. That was the most joyful moments for me in life, is when somebody was speaking of you and the things you did. So I felt like that's what made me whole, to try to be like you.
I think about that constantly, like how you used to look at me and how you used to mimic all the stuff. I remember you told me one time when you was small and you was like, you should have made me a boy.
I thought I was a boy for a long time. I thought I was a boy for a long time. I think that's probably why I got in so much trouble in the streets. I felt like I had to be a man, not like I want to transition or anything like that, but I feel like because there was no men in my life that I had to be that man. Like I felt like I had to go up against men. I felt like I had to show them that you will not play with me. And I don't like that now. I don't like to think that, but that's how I thought then, because I felt like I had nobody to protect me but me. I would tell people that by 18, either I'm going to be dead or I'm going to be in prison. I felt like I had no purpose. I think because the parent that loved me was you. So once you love something and you nourish it, and you take that away from that plant and nobody's watering it anymore, it dies. So I felt like, why am I here? But every time I fight, I get this praise. Now I'm thinking the love is coming from these people praising me for fighting everybody and beating them up. And that's not love. That's people that really don't care for me. But I thought that was love. That's where I got my love from. That's how my flower got watered, through these people praising me for doing the wrong things.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I want to know what you into. Like, what do you do? What do you eat? What are you doing now? Like, what?
I like protein, but I keep getting buff. I look like a linebacker right now. But I like protein. I like chicken and cheese. I love cheese.
Before the interview, our team had written up a list of questions, and we'd given them to both Ula and Domonica. And these were optional, obviously, but just in case they needed something to talk about. And on that list, I had included the questions that Domonica hoped her dad would ask her. Remember those? Like, what's your favorite color? What do you like to eat?
Do you think he would have asked those questions if you hadn't put them on a list?
Probably not. In retrospect, I'm not really sure that was the right call, because Domonica wanted him to think of these questions on his own, And I guess I'm still thinking about this, but I really did want Domonica to get what she wanted out of this conversation, which is for her dad to know her.
You know what else I don't know? What's your favorite color?
Pink.
Pink?
I love pink. I'm 5'8", but I look like I'm about 6'3", if you ask me. But I'm 5'8". I love music. I love cooking. I spend most of my days in my room chilling. I love school. If you could spend a day with me outside of prison, what would we do?
Well, we would have to probably go like to San Francisco because I would want to take you to Pier 39. I think we would probably go see your great-grandmother's grave. I think we would go spend time with her. But I would spend probably majority of that time just listening to you.
I want to go to the beach. That was the last place I remember us going to the beach. We went to the beach. So I wouldn't want to go back to the beach. I go to the beach when I get sad. Because that was the last place we went to was the beach. I love water now because of that.
I know there was a lot of us in the room, but honestly, I think they forgot.
Yeah, I agree.
And we didn't know how long the staff was going to give them for this. Again, it was unprecedented. But I think Ula and Domonica talked for about maybe an hour before it was time to go.
So you guys have about less than 10 minutes left.
I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you.
I love you so much. I love you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
My baby, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you.
I love you too. I hope you have a good day.
You have a blessed and wonderful day. I don't know if it's going to get any better after this, but I'm going to try to keep this vibe all the way throughout. I love you, Domonica.
All righty. I love you, Dad. I love you too.
I love you too. Oh my God, that's my baby.
Thank you, guys.
Listening to this call,
Did the boohoo start to fall?
I was teary-eyed, for real, because it was so emotional just hearing Ula just express his love, and you could just hear how his decisions in life basically robbed him of his time with his daughter. You know what I'm saying? And he was trying his best to get, 20-something years of conversation into this 1 hour. So whether it was just, listening to a grown man start to tear up, it just affects you. You know what I'm saying?
But how did you feel for Domonica?
I was, more happy for her that she had a chance to, as a daughter, to be able to talk to her father. We were able to make something beautiful happen in that moment. I was happy of that.
I agree. And because I wasn't that involved in it, I can say that it wouldn't have happened without the Ear Hustle team making it happen. And that's pretty amazing to spend a year and a ton of energy to make a conversation between two people, a dad and a daughter, actually happen.
And all of this started because Ula found out that we were working at CIW, and he was like, man, my daughter's there. For that little situation to grow into them being able to reconnect in a way that not only did they get this video chat, they got approved to write each other.
Right. So since the video visit, Domonica and Ula have been given permission to write letters to each other.
Right.
Which that's a big deal, right?
That's a huge deal because now you can communicate.
Well, it makes me think of our last episode about letters, right? If you write a letter and you open it, you never know what's going to happen. You know how some people, they always want to know, how are you changing a bunch of people's lives? Like everyone wants you to upscale and like make your outreach bigger. I love this story because it talks about the importance of making something happen for two people.
Yeah.
And that's huge. Spending a year making something really special happen for two people matters deeply.
And then it's not just them too, because everybody on the yard is more inspired that this could happen to them.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people have family members that's in jail and they're not able to communicate with them based on rules and regulations. That may make sense in some situations, but most likely not.
All right. Well, here's to us continuing to try to open the door of communication in any way that we can. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely.
Go Ear Hustle.
We did that.
Ear Hustle is produced by me, Nigel Poor, Erlon Woods, Amy Standen, Bruce Wallace, and Kat Shuknet.
Shabnam Sigmund is the managing producer.
The producing team inside San Quentin includes Darrell Sadiq Davis and Tom Nguyen. The inside managing producer is Tony Tafoya.
Special thanks to Warden Andes and Public Information Officer Lieutenant Barry and Sergeant Graves at San Quentin for the special effort you put in to making this video call happen.
And thanks also to our friend, Lieutenant Newborg, who recently retired as the PIO at the California Institution for Women, who also put in a lot of legwork to make this possible.
Thanks also to Acting Warden Parker, Associate Warden Lewis, and PIO Lieutenant Avina at the California Institution for Women, and Warden Dela Cruz and PIO Lieutenant Williams at the Central California Women's Facility for their support of the show.
I am Lieutenant Giamari Berry, the Public Information Officer here at San Quentin Rehabilitation Center, and I approve this episode.
Bruce Wallace sound designs the show with help from Erlon Woods and Darrell Sadiq Davis. Fernando Arruda and Harry Colhane are our engineers.
Music for this episode comes from Antoine Williams, David Jazzy, Darrell Sadiq Davis, Bruce Wallace, and me.
For more information about this episode, check out the show notes on Ear Hustle's website, earhustlesq.com. And if you want to check out the newspaper that's produced inside San Quentin, go to sanquentinnews.com.
Ear Hustle receives support from the Just Trust, building a smaller, more humane engine of justice and safety across the country.
Ear Hustle will always be free, but if you want more Ear Hustle without ads, sign up for Ear Hustle Plus. You'll get subscriber-only bonus content, and you'll be supporting our team.
Sign up at earhustlesq.com/plus or directly in Apple Podcasts.
Ear Hustle is a proud member of Radiotopia from PRX, a network of independent, creator-owned, listener-supported podcasts.
Discover audio and vision at radiotopia.fm.
I'm Nigel Poor.
I'm Erlon Woods.
Thanks for listening.
I got a cool background on Microsoft Teams. Cartoon characters behind me, all kind of stuff. They be like, what the hell wrong with Erlon?
Radiotopia.